Hey Simmers, it's Sims Freeplay Design Heaven here, back again. We're going to do another visual walkthrough of one of my houses today, so it's this one here. I designed this house maybe a couple of months ago, and I did a pretend balcony in this house. So at the end where the balcony actually is, I put a room and I put some outdoor furniture in there, and I took photos of it with the walls down, and when I put it on Instagram, everyone was like, oh my gosh, how do you have a balcony? This is crazy. And literally like a month later, the balconies quest came out, so I was so excited that I could turn my balcony into an actual balcony. And so I was, thank you Sims, thank you for the balconies. It came with perfect timing, because I had just pretended to make a balcony. So cheers to you guys. So this is the house here. I guess the first thing you need to know about this house is that it is an absolute mansion. So it's on my beachside premium lot, and what I wanted to do with this house is have a real sense of luxury. So I don't know if you guys have, maybe it reminded me of, I don't want it to be a Hamptons house because it's not in the Hamptons. I think this is, for me, this is definitely, maybe in Australia there's a place called Queensland, so I'm thinking it might be somewhere in like northern Queensland, which is just near the water, so the water just rolls up to the end of the lot, which you can see when I go back down. Or if you've got a premium lot, a beachside lot yourself, you'll know what I'm talking about. But I wanted it to feel like the people who live in this house are absolutely party centric. So they are all about throwing dinner parties. They're all about throwing huge parties themselves, like dance parties and balls, and they're very social. So they're a very social household. And funnily enough, the household has a lot of social points furniture, which is by accident, but it works in well with my idea of it being a very social household. But I'll go into that a little bit in more detail once we're into the kitchen and the lounge area. But so the first things first is I've got the aquariums in the walkway, which I love. I love the aquariums so much. You can't, they're not already in the Sims store. You have to actually buy them. So, when you buy your Simillions, or if you buy LP or SP, there's actually another tab there that says, I think it says like extras or something like that. Actually, let's have a look at it. So it would be here in the specials part. So that's where I bought my, my aquariums. I did initially have the aquariums as a complete wall across here, so they were all the way across. I don't know if you guys have seen Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet, but I loved that idea in the bathroom there, that an aquarium is actually a wall. And when I did it, it just looked so weird. It looked so weird, and I was like, damn it, it just didn't look the way that I wanted it to look, because I wanted this house, as you walk in, I wanted it to be really, really spectacular. So I wanted the view to kind of like almost hit you in the face as you walked in, and I thought a wall of an aquarium would be just so beautiful to look at. But it looked a little bit strange, so I decided just to have the two aquariums, and I think it actually works well. So as you walk in, you don't walk straight into the pool. You have to kind of walk around the aquarium to get into the pool area, which I think is quite nice as well, and a bit more practical. Beautiful. So we'll go around here. So we've obviously got stairs to a basement, which is really exciting. And they've got stairs to upstairs. I love these stairs. There is something about these stairs. I don't know if that's actually wood or copper, but they're absolutely beautiful. I try and use them as much as I can, but I think they're worth 50 social points, which is just ridiculous. They're so expensive. So I pick and choose where I use them. It's only in special houses that they get to be used. All right, cool. So this is a living area, and I don't know if you can tell from this living area, but it is really entertainment focused. So we've got two living areas. So if you had, 50 people over, they're all scattered throughout the house. You've got different areas for different people or different groups of friends to sort of hang out. So we've got one with the TV and, the fireplace. Even though this is a beachside house and, it's probably generally quite warm where they are, I think, sometimes on summer nights or in spring nights, it gets a little bit cold. So I wanted to put a couple of fireplaces in here so that, you can snuggle up and be quite toasty and warm in this house, even though it is quite close to the beach. And then on this side, I'm assuming that there'd be people sitting here sort of like listening to music, having really cool discussions, and drinking wine and, just generally being fabulous, which is hilarious. And then across the way here is the kitchen and dining area. So with the kitchen and dining area, what I wanted it to be is to be a really open area, so that if you're in the kitchen cooking dinner, or if, you might be preparing some sort of food or platter or anything like that, and people are sitting in the dining room, you can all have the same conversation, and it's all quite open, and, they can see you being, an amazing chef in the kitchen, which is, I love that idea of cooking while people are watching. I think it's really communal and it's quite nice. Then towards the side here, this is sort of like a tranquility zen zone. So this is where, obviously there's a lot of entertaining going in this house, and sometimes you just need to get away from it and just be yourself, and just be by yourself, I should say. So the idea behind this is that, it's got the Japanese wallpaper, it's got all the bookshelves and the books on the the table there, and it's just somewhere that you would go and you could probably hear the water and the waves crash in this room, and it just feels very, very calm and very sort of comforting in this room. Then if we go out here, it's the patio. So this was the first patio that I ever did, actually, and I've got these chairs everywhere in all of my houses. I just love them so much. They're one of my favorite things about the update, these chairs. And then I've got my little doors out there, so you can actually get out to the ocean, which is really cool. I love these beachside premium lots so much. I come from Australia, so where I live in Australia, I live about 2 minutes walk from the beach, and I'm living in London at the moment, and it is killing me being far away from the ocean. It really is. It's starting to warm up in London, and it's going to be summer soon, and I just am missing the beach so much, especially with this warm weather. But I can live with the ocean in my Sims, which makes me so happy. I also really love the fact that the Sims have designed the fence so that it's higher on this side, and then it dips, so it's lower here near the ocean. I just think it's such a small detail, but it's like such a cool detail. When I realized that, I got so excited, because I was like, oh, my Sims can jump over that really easily, and then go and have a surf or go onto the beach. And I just think that was a really good idea for them to do that. I think, go Sims, because it's a small detail, but it actually got me really excited. Okay, so there is just 2 bathrooms here. So one is an ensuite for this bedroom here, and then the other one is just a toilet, for your guests to go through. So you need to walk via the pool to get into that toilet, which goes with the idea that I really wanted this pool, even though it is at the center of the house, I wanted it to feel like it's not a room there and a room there and a pool. It's more like it's one house. So I wanted the pool to kind of feel like it was part of the house, even though it is outside. I do have that in other houses where I've got like a square pool and sort of like the house centers around it. But the pools in those houses you can still tell they're outside. Whereas this one, I wanted it to really feel like, to walk to other rooms, you actually have to kind of, like, the skirting around the pool is almost like a hallway. I don't know if that makes sense, but I really did want to make it feel like this pool was really like a focal piece of this house, and it was part of the actual interior, even though it was outside. So that's why I've got the entrance to the toilet there. So this is one of the master bedrooms. So I've got 2 master bedrooms in this house, which might sound a bit strange, but I've got 2 really grand bedrooms, so I don't know which one would be the actual master bedroom. So this is one of 2. So this is, I've used a social point bed, so the green bed, and, the couches here, they're all matching together. I really just wanted to utilize that view. That's what I wanted to do. So I've got the windows there so they can look out. I love the idea of waking up in the morning, and if you're a creative type, the painted canvas is there, and you might go and paint the waves in the morning. I think that's kind of cool. It's a cool idea. And you can sit out and maybe read a book, or even just lie on the couch there and watch the waves. And, because obviously this person's a surfer, because who isn't a surfer when, you live that close to the ocean? So they grab their surfboard and they just head out through their room, and then they're straight out into the ocean, which is just so awesome. So that's one of the master bedrooms. So we'll go down here, down this hallway here. I've also used the planter boxes with the lattice in this house, because there isn't really much opportunity for a backyard. Actually, there's no opportunity for a backyard in this house, just because I've utilized all the space with actual building rooms or patios. So I wanted to make sure that the inside still felt like there was foliage and greenery in the house, because I think it really softens a house to have green plants, and I think it's quite it's a fresh look, which I really, really like. So that's why I made sure that the planter boxes were kind of on the skirting of the hallway. So now we're going to go across and go down to the basement, which is exciting. Ooh, so this is the basement. I don't know if you guys saw my previous video of my spy headquarters. This basement is tiny, tiny, tiny compared to that video, but I love it just as much. Maybe not just as much, but almost as much. The first room that I want to show you guys is this one here. So you might be looking at this thinking, seriously, what have you done? You've got a room full of books. This is ridiculous. But in my mind, this is actually not a room of books. This is a wine cellar. So I'm really excited at the fact that this could be a wine cellar. So it's got the concrete floor and the stone walls, so it keeps the wine nice and cool. I also wanted it to feel like the double doors. It's quite a, it's probably got a really good lock on there. There's really there's bottles of wine in there that are like years and years and years and years old, and it's perfect. It fits in with my theme of what I wanted to do for this house, of it being an entertainer's house. So that was when basements came. I was like, this place needs a wine cellar, stat. This needs to happen. So I did. I immediately built this wine cellar, and I knew exactly what I wanted to do with it, because I had it in my mind before basements that I kind of wanted a wine cellar in one of my houses, and this was definitely the only choice for the house that would have a wine cellar. Then we've got this room here. So this is like the den. So what I wanted to do with this room was that I wanted it to be a little bit darker than what it is up the top. I think I needed a breath of fresh air with the design of the den area or the basement, because the rest of the house is quite light. It's very airy, it's very light, whereas I wanted this basement to feel very different to the rest of the house. So this is sort of like, I don't know if you guys have got this, but with my basements, it's like, where you get a new couch, your old couch gets kind of like delegated down into the basement. So that's the whole idea, is like these furniture pieces are like what they used to have, whereas now they've got the lighter wood. So all the dark wood furniture kind of comes down to the basement. It is a den as well. I put the fireplace in there, which I would assume is quite dangerous to have a fireplace in a basement, but oh well, I thought it looked cool. So I was like, oh, let's put it in. And then there's the TV there and the bed. So if they have multiple people stay over, you can have somebody down in the basement or the den, which, nice and comfy, which is nice. I really like that. The colour scheme in here is all kind of similar, which I'm really happy with. Alrighty. So now let's head upstairs. So again, it's that theme of entertainment is sort of like centers through this house. So we've got another entertaining area, another area for, watching TV and sitting by the fire, which is really nice. I also have a computer up here. I didn't want to put a study in this house because I thought these people, they don't want to get too bogged down by technology. These people like to kind of live life and have fun and sit around and chat to each other. So that's why the computer is almost an afterthought. Every house needs a computer, but it's just off to the side. It's nothing too special. I've got a bathroom for upstairs here. And then this is the second master bedroom. So as you can see, it's got its own walk-in robe and ensuite as well. And I've used the planter boxes next to these kitchen cabinets here. And I actually really like the idea. I sort of did it by accident. And I realised that I was like, oh, I actually really, really like that. I think that looks really cool. So it's got a fireplace in this room as well, which is quite nice. I've used the red walls, which I think goes really nicely with those pink roses. I think that kind of like those colourings really work well together. So then we've got the walk-in robe and the ensuite. I think I've said this before, but I love that idea that, your ensuite and your walk-in robe sort of, you don't bring mess into your bedroom. So if you're having a shower, you take your clothes off in your walk-in wardrobe, they stay in your walk-in wardrobe. If your towels are probably in your walk-in wardrobe, and none of the mess actually comes out to the bedroom. So that was the idea behind having it, sort of like in stages. So you walk into your wardrobe, then into your ensuite. That was the idea behind that, if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. I was trying to be practical when I built that. Okay, cool. So we'll go around the corner here. So then I've also got a gym. So I've got a gym with, you can watch the TV screens, or you can just kind of look out to your neighborhood. I thought, what fabulous house doesn't have a gym? And then if we go around the corner, so this is where the actual balcony is. So this balcony was actually just a room before. It had the exact same furnishings, and I had one of the sort of like tiled floors in here before, but then the balconies came out. And look, I do like this flooring for this balcony, but I actually prefer the flooring that I had before. which was this one here. I'll show you the flooring really quickly. So this is the flooring I had. It was that flooring. So that was the flooring that I had, but it was not in that. Obviously, it was on the balcony. But yeah, I had to kind of go with what they had with this balcony. So it is still nice. I still really like it, and I love the fact that it's utilizing that view. Because look at this, like as if you wouldn't want to sit up here and be looking out at the ocean. Like, it just is awesome. I've also put that second set of stairs there so that if you are, out on the balcony and you're relaxing, you can just jump downstairs really quickly and jump in the pool if you're getting a bit too hot. Cool. All right, guys. So what I might do for the final little bit is just pop the roof on. This is one of my favorite views of the house. I love that idea of, like, if you're in this room, you can sort of like see across and still see what's going on if somebody's walking down that hallway. And it's a very open house. I think with the roof on, when you can see the whole house, it's just so, like, it's such a mansion. Like, it really is such a mansion. I really like the white brick with those black windows. I think they're stunning, those windows. I love them so much, and I think they're really accentuated with that white brick. Yeah, I just love it. I just love it so much. I think it works really, really well. But thanks so much for watching my video, guys. Hopefully it didn't bore you too much. I have really enjoyed making this one, actually. It's a beautiful house, so I'm happy to share it with you guys. If you guys want to steal any sort of inspiration from it, go right ahead. If you liked the video and the house, give me a thumbs up at the bottom of this video. Subscribe to my page as well. I've got many, many more videos coming. I've made quite a few that I'm going to be uploading in the next couple of days. And find me on Instagram. I'm at simsfreeplay _design heaven. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and have a great day.